the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayana. When can you listen to the Sister Speak Show? At 7 p.m. Central. Tune in on the go or at your residential. Spreaker, YouTube, Alexa, or SoundCloud. Interviewing special guests that have been blessed and will bless us. Through spoken word and awareness, knowledge is wealth if you gain it. Share this in the streets, in the burbs, anywhere that we can be heard. It's about that time to elevate your mind. Feel the beat, Sister Speak, come and eat a spiritual treat. It's about that time to stimulate your mind. Feel the beat, Sister Speak, come and eat a spiritual treat.
Welcome, my brothers and my sisters, to the Sister Speak Show. Welcome to the Culture Climate on the Sister Speak Show. I am your host, producer, and creator, Ayana of the Sister Speak Show, Kingdom Child Recordings, executive producer of the Sister Speak Show. My brothers and sisters, how are you doing? I hope everything is going well for you. My brothers and my sisters, you are listening to the Sister Speak Show on demand. So whatever time you are listening to the Sister Speak Show, I hope everything is going well for you. And I hope everything is manifesting for you so far in the way that you have prayed for it to do so. I want you to hold on and I want you to hold out because change is on the way and this too shall pass. My brothers and sisters, you are listening to a 6-segment podcast. And this is for all of my first-time listeners. We are a 6-segment podcast that is syndicated on Amazon Alexa. Shout out. And so on the Sister Speak Show, you can catch the platform, come into the stage, the search effort, the culture climate, the tour, the laugh line, my brothers and sisters. And I'm so excited about that. And on those segments, you can catch special guest interviews, live performances, in-studio interviews, and live on-location reports. The special guests who will be on the Sister Speak Show are dynamic and they are impacting the communities with their passions. The Sister Speak Show is a talk show that will keep your mind and your soul informed, energized, and encouraged. We are a cultural renaissance platform that influences a climate that is conducive to who you are and who you should be. No reckless entertainment. Just responsible listening nourishment. We don't go dumb. We go wisdom on the Sister Speak Show, and this is about making the known on the Sister Speak Show. So my brothers and sisters, check this out. Tonight on the Culture Climate, we are going to have to understand that this is for mature audiences only. Okay? And I see you guys like Sex Issues Part 2. Appreciate you all for listening to that. So tonight, we are going to venture into the culture climate. And the culture climate focuses on the hues, hearing unique, exceptional stories, as well as the grit and grime that goes on. You know, raw topics in our communities, very raw. And I hope that you are mature, and I hope you will continue to be the audience that can listen to the culture climate, because I keep it 1,000 on here. I keep it very bold, very raw, very direct, very real. But I also provide encouragement because I know we're works in progress. I know we have shortcomings and we all fall short of the glory. So, you have to point it out, and then you have to provide encouragement and point brothers and sisters into the direction for the answers. I don't know it all. I know I don't sit high and look low. I'm not almighty. I'm not omnipotent, nor am I omnipresent. Okay? So I understand who I am and who I am not. Just a vessel, so understand that. Okay, brothers and sisters, tonight's segment on the Culture Climate is entitled Broken While Getting Paid. The history of prostitution, my brothers and sisters, the fascination of prostitution, the popularity of prostitution, the fact that there are young girls, young boys, old girls who are involved in prostitution, whether they're on the streets or behind closed doors in the sheets. Oh, they're on deck. Oh, yes. And you have the world of escorting and going into the champagne room and all these ads and back pages and all these other type of sites that you can meet a prostitute, or where a prostitute can solicit for sex, for fornication, to be exact. Okay, sex makes you think, when you say the word sex, it kind of makes people think that it's not that bad. But when you say fornication, ooh, we got to draw attention to that. So understand this. When it comes to fornication and the fact that people are getting paid for it, I find it very interesting that I can look on Instagram or any social media outlet and see prostitutes women who prostitute, bragging about how they have their paper up, their money, how they are stacking their chips, how, get like them, boss up, this is what I do, don't hate on me, God has blessed me. Now, God has blessed you to breathe, yes, but God has not blessed you to hoe. He just hasn't, brothers and sisters. I'm talking to the male hoe and the female hoe. He has not blessed you to do that. Okay, what you're doing is getting in the trenches, my brothers and my sisters, to make some money. And you have been led astray by the wiles of the enemy to get into the darkness of fornication. Okay. I don't care if you make $5,000 in an hour. You had to let somebody do some nasty things to you, disrespectful things to you in order to get that. See, they always want to show the money, right? They always want to floss on you, right? You look on IG and there's somebody just counting stacks of hundreds and 20s and 50s and telling you get like me and all this other type of stuff. But what I want to know is, why don't you film what you did to get it, sis? Bruh? Why don't you film that? You know why? Because it's too graphic. It's too disgusting. It's too horrible. Okay? That's why. You don't want to tell everybody how you had to wipe your forehead for about 15 minutes because the ejaculation had crusted up on your forehead. I told you to buckle your seatbelts. I told you this was for mature audiences only. You don't want to tell anybody how you're bleeding. You don't want to tell anybody how your anus is no longer intact and all the blood vessels in it have been broken and have been damaged, and how now your colon is out of whack because, you're doing things to get money and through sodomy in your prostitution, whether you're male or female, this is just a FYI, or really a FYA for your A. Listen, brothers and sisters, your anus is for using the bathroom only. It's not to be penetrated, and I don't care what you could drum up to say it feels like. That's a violation. It's like off limits. But people engage in it, and there are consequences. So when you're engaging in these acts and you're getting paid to, you're 16, you're sleeping with a 42-year-old, whether you're a male or female, or whether you're a John or a Jane, you're perusing, looking for a good time. My gosh. And all of the money that you get is not worth the shame, the demons, the isolation, the dangers that are associated with prostitution. And our people, we glorify it. We glorify it. And we've got to stop. Our brothers and sisters are better than standing on a corner, better than going from hotel to hotel, better than getting in a car and getting paid to give fellatio. And it's so funny. Have you ever talked, because I've talked to hoes. I've talked to women that are prostitutes. I have. And did you know that they can do something and not even know what they're doing? For instance, fellatio. is the term for oral sex. And if you ask a prostitute, so you do fellatio? Ugh, what's that? Okay, wait. Ugh, what's that? That's what you do. I don't do no dang fellatio, so you don't do oral sex? Oh, I didn't know that's what it called. Girl, all you had to do is say that's just sucking. You know, and it's just like, oh, gosh, that's so vulgar within itself. Do you all remember being in school and you would come to school the next day to find out that somebody had performed fellatio on a classmate of yours, you know, and then you always get it on the desk, you know, LaWanda sucks penis. Well, you know, they use the word D-I-C-K. Have you ever run into those in the bathroom where you could just find it all out? And sometimes that's not, we know that some things that are written down on bathroom walls aren't necessarily true, you know, but it's so amazing how when you use the terms, they don't even know what they're doing. You know, I overheard a girl saying one time that she would do fellatio for $400. Okay. No thank you. At all. You know, and so anyway, brothers and sisters, you know, when it comes to prostitution in our communities, we're in an epidemic. And the results of rape, kidnapping, drug use, loss of innocence, loss of perspective, loss of morality, loss of dignity, loss of self-awareness, loss of self-love. You know, these are the things that come with it, you know, and we've got to pray for our brothers and sisters. Now, I don't know what leads everyone into doing it. Like I said, I have come close to the sex industry, and I know what all can happen when just dancing. Okay, so I'm fully aware of what I'm talking about tonight and qualified because the Lord delivered me from my reckless behaviors. Okay? And as a result of removing me from my reckless behaviors, I am able to look back on my life and say, Ayana, you made some mistakes. You used your body in a way that you weren't supposed to. But Ayana, you were also molested at a young age. A few times. So that was an influencer on some of the decisions and the choices that I made. Okay? Now, I know these things were not my fault. I know I was a young girl. But at some point, we have to walk away from the scene of the crime. At some point, we have to walk away from the accident and get some help. Okay? We can't stay on the freeway at the wreck forever. We've got to move. Okay? We had the accident. Now, how are we going to heal? And so I'm glad to say today in my present mind that my mind has been renewed in that area, that I no longer do those things. However, I don't hold my nose up and look down at anybody who is still in the trenches because God can deliver them. But I do know that the trenches stink. They're vile. They're wicked. They're demonic. They take you out of your soul. And you will run into humans who are vile, wicked, that only want to use your vagina and your penis for money. That will abuse you, lure you in, and then emotionally abuse you and begin to break you down to where you completely submit to their reign of terror. Yes, everybody has a choice. A pimp has a choice. A prostitute has a choice. A John has a choice. Definitely. And there are factors that influence the choices. But I hope that the village will not look down on the prostitutes, okay? But we'll begin to pray. Prayer is very powerful. It changes things. No prayer, no power. A little prayer, a little power. Much prayer, much power. That's what it's about, my brothers and sisters. We've got to understand that these young girls that we see, these young boys that we see, they're lost. Y'all, they're lost. And instead of driving down the boulevard, instead of driving down International, instead of driving down Harry Hines with the look of judgment that is not righteous, the look of judgment that does not have a solution, instead of doing that, why don't you start praying for them? Be glad it's not you. Or was that you? What have you learned from being delivered from being a hoe yourself? You know, you can still be a hoe and not get paid. There are several. Look, let me break it down for you. Because we take the term hoe and we apply it away from ourselves a lot of times. Everybody's a hoe but you. Okay, let me break this down so you can understand. The moment that you engage in willful, consensual fornication, you are a hoe until you get married, and you have to repent. Okay? Now, some of you don't want to hear that, but you are. You know, there is somebody who is documenting our actions. And so I know I was a hoe. For sure. Okay? But the one issue I had was other hoes. What do you mean other hoes? Other hoes that will talk about your hoeship and hide their hoeship. You know, the pretty hoe. The quiet hoe. The who me hoe? Yeah, you. You can't talk about what I did if you've done it too. See, we like to say, ugh, she nasty. She sucks such and such. Look, if you've sucked something, penis, okay, performed oral sex, and somebody else has, then you both are hoes and you both are nasty. If that's the case. See, you know, you can't be particular on who you're sucking. Oh, well, I've only sucked 5 and she sucked 7. Okay, so you're a 5 sucking hoe and she's a 7 sucking hoe. I mean, you know. You don't like this talk today, brothers and sisters? I know you do. This conversation is for mature audiences, and you are listening on demand to the Culture Climate on the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayana. You know, I have a problem with other hoes that like to talk about other hoes but don't want to call themselves a hoe. I'm serious about that. So anyway, brothers and sisters, we're going to take a commercial break. And after this commercial break, we're going to go ahead and get into this documentary that I have for you guys. I'm really excited about it because it's deep. And not only is it deep, it's very interesting. So, of course, I'll cite my sources and we'll get started with that. Okay, we'll be right back.
Speak Show is even easier now with the new abilities available from Spreaker Skill on Amazon Alexa. With Spreaker on Alexa, you can now listen to the Sister Speak Show from even more places from all around the world. You also have navigation control, fast forward and rewind podcast to make sure you never miss a second of your favorite show. And then you can ask for show recommendations like the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. The latest episode of The Search Effort is now available on demand on the Sister Speak show. Dorothy and the Crooked Brick Road, the Dorothy Williams story. Let's find out what happened to the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion when they ran into Dorothy in Chicago. From The Search Effort, hosted by Ayana Holloman, the Sister Speak show, live and on demand Sunday through Sunday, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve.
Brothers and sisters, welcome back. You are listening on demand to the Culture Climate. I know some of you are like, uh-oh, here we go. Look, I just got to keep it with 100 with you. You know, this is just the real talk. So anyway, brothers and sisters, I have a clip. And this is a prostitution documentary. It's off of Documentary HD, a page on YouTube. And it is presented by the Discovery Channel. Okay, so the original source is the Discovery Channel. I then picked it up off of Documentary HD on YouTube, citing my sources. And I just want you to listen to this documentary, and then we'll wrap things up. And, I just appreciate you listening. I know that you all have your opinions about prostitutions. And I know some of you are from the I like it, I love it era. If you like it, I love it era. Some of you like whatever floats your boat era. And some of you like, you know what? I spent a lot of time using my body unnecessarily, and I am awake now. I realize that I should not have carried myself in that manner. And I realized that I lost some dignity along the way as a result of sharing myself and not waiting for my husband or waiting for my wife. Some of you have already repented. I just don't want those of you who have not repented to go ahead walking around as if there's no accountability that you're supposed to have. I want you to be the best that you can be. I want you to be able to use your body in a manner that it was created for. I want your body to be loved and caressed and kissed on and all the wonderful things that come and penetrated. I do. By your husband or by your wife. Okay? I'm speaking to the virgins. I'm speaking to the ones who've done it one time and said, you know what, never again. I'm speaking to the ones who have decided to become celibate, to the ones who are abstaining. There's nothing wrong with that. Shout out to you if you are still a virgin. Shout out to you if you are celibate. Shout out to you if you are abstaining. Whether you are a male or a female, I applaud you and salute you and hold on, my sister. Hold on, my brother. No matter how much temptation is around, no matter how much sexual influences are all over the place, I want to encourage you to hold fast and be steadfast and unmovable in your resolve to hold on to your virginity until you get married. God honors that, and He will bless you for that. I did not do that. The only thing I was able to do was to become celibate. But if I had it over to do again, I would have stayed a virgin. I would not have ever done any of the things that I have done. Okay? And I mean that. I am thoroughly disgusted with how I have behaved in the past. I'm thoroughly upset with myself about how much time I wasted being a sinner. Okay? How much time I wasted embarrassing God. How much time I wasted creating nothing but trouble for myself, mental pits, spiritual pits, physical pits, okay? I'm being honest about myself today. I was born, my mother was a virgin when she got married, and so was my father. They've only known each other, you know? And so I want to make sure I can do that for my children, instill in them the sex ed without the whole don't have sex. And without any education, without any wisdom, without any why. I want to be very hands-on with my children. That's what it's about. It's about the babies. It's about the teenagers. It's about the young adults. It's about the old adults. It's about my human brothers and sisters. Okay? And for those of you who are suffering from sexual dysfunctions that lead you to do things that you regret doing the moment you ejaculate, the moment you climax, I'm praying for you that the strongholds will come off of you. I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of the Most High God and His Son, the Christ, and I plead the blood of Jesus over my brothers and sisters today. I rebuke you, the demon of incubus. I rebuke you, the demon of succubus. I rebuke you, the demon of nightmare. That you will no longer haunt my brothers and sisters and influence them and create nasty imaginations that roll through their mind that make them feel like they have to act out. I rebuke you. Go into the pit of hell from which you come from right now. Remove your hand off my brothers and my sisters, that they will be chastened of the Lord and that they will be in their right minds and that the Lord, take the desires to fornicate away until they get married. I know some of you didn't want to hear that, but you'll thank me later. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's get right into this. The Prostitution documentary, and this is off of Documentary HD, originally created by Discovery Channel. Let's get it. Let's go. This program contains sexual content that is not intended for younger viewers.
Tonight on American Underworld.
Look at your new pappy that's going to keep you happy, baby, right over here to your right.
I was considered one of the greatest
flesh peddler that ever hit the street.
One of the greatest flesh peddlers. Old school pimps used to run the streets. Your number one goal is to take care of daddy.
The daddy's taken care of, I'm taken care of.
But the business is changing.
And I don't promote prostitution. I'm the solution to prostitution.
I'm basically saying I'm looking for a gentleman.
And girls may not even need pimps anymore.
I have sex and I get paid for it, so it's great.
But one thing never changes. The lure of money keeps men and women in the game.
I'm addicted to it.
I'm going deep into this underworld to explore America's sex trade from the inside. I'm Mark Allen Johnson, and I'm a photojournalist. My work has appeared worldwide in publications such as Newsweek and Time magazine. I've got exclusive access to some of the most secretive and dangerous subcultures imaginable. And I'm taking you out of your comfort zone and inside to the heart of the American underworld.
Welcome to the underworld.
Today I'm in Chicago, the birthplace of the American street pimp. Right now we're headed to Debbie the Glass Lady's house. Debbie the Glass Lady is instrumental in the pimp process. I've heard that she knows every pimp in the world. For a pimp, it's all about showing off what you've got. Every pimp wants to be personalized. Every pimp wants to be different. It's how he attracts the girls. And Debbie makes one of the most prized possessions of all, the pimp cup. She has a unique relationship with some of the most important pimps in town. That's why I'm here. What's up, Debbie?
Hi,
Nice.
how are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
These are pimp cups.
Okay.
Or chalices.
Now, what's the significance of the pimp cup for the pimp? Why does a pimp need a pimp cup?
Because it sets his status. Something like his swagger.
Right.
This is all important for him to look bling bling to everybody around him and to be accepted by other P's. He has to have the best cup, the best jewelry, the best car. This is the way he attracts the women in bling.
Flash breeds respect in the pimp world, and the pimps want to be seen. The cops can spot them right away, but it's worth the risk.
I've been doing it for 30 years. I have done it for over 100 pimps. I am the pimp mother. After they ordered a cup, it's blessed and set on the altar
Right over
for
here.
7 days. Each time they drink out of this cup, they're drinking a prayer. These guys, instead of them going to the games or selling drugs, sex has always been selling. I'm not an advocate for pimping. I think it's disgusting, but I can't judge.
Debbie has her own perspective on the pimping world. Tomorrow, I'll be able to see for myself. She's connecting me with the Minister Seymour, who will then hopefully take me on to see the king of all pimping. Today I'm going to hook up with a man named the Minister Seymour. The Minister Seymour, I'm supposed to be meeting him here at his beauty shop, and he's going to be taking me along the way and introducing me to one of the most notorious pimps of all times, the Archbishop Don Magic Wand. I need the minister's stamp of approval if I'm to meet the Bishop Don Magic Wand. The Bishop's a celebrity in the pimping world. Mark Allen Johnson, sir. Pimps can make as much as $500,000 a year. The bishop and the minister own the Chicago streets for 13 of them. They are the ultimate pimp stereotypes. Rich, flamboyant, and hardcore.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks
All right.
thanks for meeting with me.
Okay. What's going down?
Well, I'm here to talk to you because I came to Chicago to meet with the bishop.
You want to know something about him, huh? Bishop was a poor Mac in his days, you know, and a lot of brothers thought they could out-pimp him, but they couldn't, you know. When I met him, he was pimping like a mad Russian back then. If his girls mess up, he'll beat them in the bell tub. He'll whoop them.
Wow.
Sometime on the whole store 20 below zero, he take his booster cables out and whoop the girls, beat them.
The booster cables, you mean he take the jumper cables out of the back of his car?
Out of his car, he was beating them.
Right there on the side of the street?
Right this side of the street.
Wow.
You want to meet him?
I'm ready.
You ready? All right, let's roll the wheel.
The bishop is retired from the pimping business, but he still knows all the key people in the game.
He's been a great player, man.
37 or 38 years.
Yeah.
That's a long relationship.
That's a long relationship.
I need to get inside the bishop's head so I can know more about how this kind of pimp operates. Yeah, the bishop. In my work as a photojournalist, I've spent time in this world. The bishop will want to see that I can hold my own before he gives me access to working pimps. Bishop.
How you doing?
How you doing, Mark?
Can I help you?
Came to learn something about pimping. The bishop is the most extreme example of an old-school pimp. He's surrounded by his entourage and dressed to impress. Brought you a gift.
Well, you did the right thing. You blessed the church with some holy water. Now, come on, let's get it cracking.
So I know you're the man, so that's why I'm here to talk to you.
Well, you come to the right place, you know what I mean? I'm talking about, I got, 33 plus years. I was considered one of the greatest flesh peddlers that ever hit the street.
One of the greatest flesh peddlers.
Flesh, female body, selling. So that I could have things that I wanted, the car, the clothes, the jewelry.
In the bishop's day, the streets of Chicago were like the Wild West. Prostitution was everywhere. There were no rules, and there was big money to be made. The girl sounds like she's doing all the work while the pimp's collecting all the good stuff.
A woman needs a pimp. Yeah, because it's much harder to work this brain than it is to lift that chair. You know, to think. It's very hard to think. And see, a pimp has to be thinking. Women are always used to being told what to do, so when you don't tell them, then they run into destruction. They don't know what to do.
So the woman doesn't, when she's prostituting, she doesn't need to do any thinking. What does she just need to do?
Get him her money and bring it home. That's her job. And the reason that is because her property that she sells is with her all the time. That's her money maker. Her mama told her before, shake your money maker, girl. She just had to supply the money to make sure that he can stand among the top pimps and players and say, I'm number one.
Is there rules to pimping?
Oh, definitely there's rules to pimping. You know what I mean? First you look at the purse. That's the first thing in the game.
You look at the what?
Purse, the money. That's always on your mind. When I was seriously pimping, every time I see a female, I seen a dollar sign. That's all I seen. And you can't be sidetracked about weakness, softness. I mean, what you say is what you mean. If you tell a female you're going to kill her, when it come time to prove it to her, she got to beg you, Daddy, please don't kill me like you said you would. That's the illustration it's got to be. Death or life.
In a world this brutal, if I want to meet a guy who's pimping today, I need the bishop to give me access.
You would never get a chance to hear nothing as even being close to them guys if I don't sanction it.
It looks like the bishop will hook me up.
Just be prepared for the unexpected.
I'm on my way to see the underbelly of street pimping. Coming up, I'm rolling with a Chicago street pimp and his prostitute.
I'll take your phone.
Learning the tricks of the trade and dodging the cops. And later, selling the fantasy of sex the legal way.
I absolutely adore everything about my life.
Americans spend billions of dollars a year on sex, in every form. It's a big business, but it can also be a dangerous one. Cops swarm the streets to shut down prostitution, and John's buying sex can kill a girl rather than pay for her. I'm in Chicago on the trail of a story about pimping, and I just met with the godfather of the business, the bishop. He's taking me to a local pimp whose girl works this street or track. So I want to talk to girls, talk to pimps, I'll hide their identity. It's dangerous, but Nico, one of the pimps, has agreed to let me spend the night following him on the streets with his #1 prostitute.
Just got this card, okay?
Oh, okay. The bishop did things old school in his day, but this modern-day street pimp has agreed to show me how he controls his women.
Go in and get some condoms and get a comb. And you gotta really be laced up, be prepared for things happening. When I say laced up, I mean, you know, whatever come your way, you gotta be able to play the cards that's dealt to you in that particular moment. Like this, my main chick, right? So I'm really, really proud of her. You know what I mean? Because she really had to be down with a cat, you know.
What does that mean when you say she's down with you? What does that mean?
Like I say, if it rains right now, she down with me in the rain. You know, if it snow right now, she down with me in the snow.
Would you go walk out in the snow?
Yeah, I have.
You know, this is the city of Chicago. This ain't just called the Windy City. It's the Windy City for real. You know, ain't no telling what the weather gonna be. But it don't stop our business, you know what I mean? Because we still got to have money every day.
Could you do this by yourself?
No.
Why?
I already tried it. It don't work out.
What happened?
I've been raped, drugged in a car. You want to know a specific story?
Yeah, if you don't mind telling me.
Was a guy, he pulled up on me. When I got in the car with him, he told me he was the police. I asked him to see a badge and a gun. He said he showed me a badge. He didn't show me a gun. So as we were driving, we went somewhere, like by some train tracks. And he pulled out the gun. He said, "Are you going to have sex with me?" I said, "Well, if you're the police, just take me to jail. You know, I'm not going to have sex with you unless you pay me." And he goes, "Well, you're going to have sex with me. I'm not paying you. And you're lucky that I'm not taking you to jail." So he went on ahead and raped me, and I got out of the car. And
Was it traumatic? I mean, did you?
no. No. Because I already know the race I'm taking when I'm out here. I already know, you know, that anything can happen.
The lure of cash keeps Nico and Laura in the game. But it's not easy money. Danger comes from the Johns, but also from the cops.
I'll take your phone.
One slip up and this prostitute could be facing a year, and the pimp 6 years in jail.
Life bring about all type of problems, but my job is to solve problems and not create none. That's the definition of pimping, right? My job is to give her the inspiration and motivation that she needs. Because PIMP means positive investment, motivated personally by me, because it began with me. It didn't begin with her. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but here's the question. A girl goes out and makes $500 to $1,000 in a night.
Okay.
She comes back to you.
Okay.
How much of the money is yours?
All of it.
She just got done laying on her back, putting in all the work. How's all the money yours?
I put her in a position to get the money. Now, her hoeing got the money, but my instructions got her there. Hello?
The police is really deep down here, and I don't want to keep casting, so I'm going.
So what you want to do?
They everywhere.
I know you're kind of frustrated about that, right? But we was handling something else, baby. Tonight you're going to be our star. You know what I'm talking about? You did represent this getting on. You know what I mean? You know, you on the track where we famous at. You know what I'm talking about? For real. So don't feel bad. It's going to be all right, man. Don't even worry about that, right? It's going to be cool. No, that's in the voice, right? I can hear it in the voice. She getting discouraged. Everywhere she going, police everywhere, you know what I mean? Because it's vice night, right? No money for a pimp mean drama for a hoe. So she not feeling good right now. You know, I'm really not feeling good. And if she ain't looking good, fuck me. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got another solution.
It's too hot with the cops here tonight. The pimp doesn't want to waste any more time. So we move on to another track. Now what about condoms? Mandatory?
Mandatory. This one is not lubricated. It's mint, so it doesn't taste bad.
Okay.
And this one is lubricated.
So you seem pretty relaxed.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm used to it.
You can work at a coffee shop. You can work at the mall. Why don't you do that?
I could never work at the coffee shop or mall because I don't see the logic in that at all. Just by me going to work for a coffee shop, is that gonna make it? Is that just makes it okay for society? But I'm still broke. I'm still struggling every day. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be home the rest of my life. I'm addicted to it, anyways. So you know.
What are you addicted to?
The money. It's a rush. I like that. The attention, all of it.
The attention? You mean the guys?
Yeah, just to know that, like, they really want me so bad that they'll give me all their money. It's fun.
And that you can direct them to the ATM machine when they don't have enough in their pocket.
I'm in charge. You know, this is my job. But this is every day. My life.
Street prostitution is dark, dirty, and dangerous, especially for the women. Most of them in the business don't live past the age of 34. Coming up, I'm in D.C. trailing a pimp and his prostitute who works round the clock for him.
Good game. The only pimp
self-proclaimed black heft,
To the palace in Dallas.
and his trio of girls, all stripping for a life of luxury. Illegal pimping and prostitution is still happening on the streets of America, often in broad daylight. So that hot girl walking past you in the street or sitting next to you at the bar might be a prostitute looking for her next trick. I've just been in Chicago meeting the godfather of the pimping world, the bishop. He has insisted I fly to Washington, D.C. to meet with his close friend, Good Game, one of the best pimps in the business, according to the bishop. Good Game travels from city to city, following where the business is best. He and his prostitute are only in D.C. for 24 hours, but I've captured stories at a moment's notice all over the world, so I'm ready for this. I've arranged to meet them at their hotel, and my cameraman is following.
Only one way to be a pimp, and that's to have a hoe. You cannot be a pimp if you don't have a prostitute. You dig what I'm saying? Who gonna go get that loot for real? You know what I mean?
When we first came in the room here, I tried to talk to Seashell, and she pretty much didn't talk to me.
No, she ain't gonna say nothing to you unless I tell her to say something to you. You dig what I'm saying? That's how real, true stomp downs do. You know what I mean? They gonna stay in pocket. That's what we call them pocket. You dig what I mean?
Can you tell her that it's okay to talk to me?
Yeah, she gonna holler at you, Jack. You dig what I mean?
Well, it's not that I didn't want to talk to you. It's just the respect that come with the order you're supposed to follow, or you ain't gonna last. Period.
Okay.
I call it a super hoe. You know what I mean? Like a super prostitute, like type.
Currently, Good Game has 3 prostitutes, but Seashell's his number 1. She works for him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, taking care of him and taking care of business.
Told you she was a super hoe, man. You dig what I'm saying?
He might need some iron. He might need a plate cooked. He might need a run to the stove. He might need a bill paid. I'm right there.
Your number 1 goal is to take care of Daddy.
Church.
That's cold.
Because if daddy's taken care of, I'm taken care of. My daughter's taken care of.
And ain't nothing like a happy hoe. You dig? Because that's when you know you're going to get your picky flicky dough.
Well, you're going to go out, and you're going to basically
Network.
wait for a guy to hit on you, and then if he
Which
does...
is a natural thing.
And then if he does that, then you're going to take it to the next level and tell him that, hey, listen, you want some of this, and you're going to have to pay for it. But
In layman's terms.
the Seashell tidal wave, is she different by day than she is by night?
Oh, yeah, of course. She got to be. By day, I'm just regular old seashell. That's networking and meeting and greeting. But by night, it's crunch time. You know what I'm saying?
But it's crunch time anytime with us, man. It's real. You know what I mean?
Good Game and Seashell's relationship is like a marriage. For him, that's just good business, because keeping a prostitute loyal is a big part of the game.
You could judge a man by his woman. So if he is the type of person he is, then I for damn sure better be the type of person he need me to be. What we do is for we. We, as in together, as a family.
So,
like a regular life. You know what I'm saying? A regular relationship with any man and woman. You go through the same things you go through.
So let me ask you, basically what you're going to do is you're going to make yourself look as pretty and as presentable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to go out, and you're going to walk around, and you're going to window shop, and you're going to do all the normal people do.
Right. If you was to see me in a crowd of people, you wouldn't even know what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's how low-key I am.
Good Game sends Seashell out during the day to attract a different clientele. Middle-class Johns. This is safer and more lucrative.
But DC, you dig what I'm saying? They so professional, they got it down to a T. That's why them real true P's love DC.
All right, I'm out of here, church.
All you gotta do is just do your thing.
Prostitution is such big business in Washington that anti-loitering laws have been introduced. Offenders convicted can face a fine of up to $300 and imprisonment for up to 180 days. Can I talk to you until you get to a busier spot?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a spot that you usually go to, or do you just walk around?
A place like this, I can normally just pick any time of the day to just walk outside and network and everything. It's like the stock market, It's up one day, it's down one day. The supply and demand in every city.
So I'm going to follow you down the street. I'm going to stay far enough away from you. Networking in plain sight, Seashell lines up a few afternoon appointments.
It's just a commercial, brothers
in
and
10
sisters.
minutes.
You checking that out? You doing better than me, Justin.
Huh?
You doing better than me.
Seashell is a businesswoman, almost like any other. And life with Good Game has given her an air of confidence that allows her to be successful on the streets.
Yeah, about 15, 20 more minutes, something like that. That's cool. Within the next half.
So she got somebody?
Now she said within the next half, she got to come take care of some, little business.
So we got to bounce up out of this room.
Hello? Hey, what's going on? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to text you a couple things, and you respond back to me. Let me know, okay? All right.
Who's that guy?
That was one of the guys I met today in my hour of networking, you know?
And what are you going to send him on? Can I see what you're going to send him on text message?
No.
Like, too deep?
To me, only certain people are allowed to sit in at a certain type of business meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Seashell needs to finish preparing for her clients. While she's working, Good Game is trying to recruit more prostitutes. I've gained his confidence, so although it's more dangerous for him, he's agreed to let me ride along. So it's 8:20, DC, got picked up by Boom the Pimp, and he picked me up with Good Game. And these guys are going to show me how they recruit new prostitutes, and they're going to show me how pimping works in DC. Are you always on the lookout for new prostitutes?
Always. When we say we be 50, 60 toes, you know what I mean? It's 10 toes for each.
So you count your hoes by toes.
Right.
So if you go, I'm 60 toes deep, that means you got 6 hoes. Pimps are always out there, dodging the cops and casing the streets for girls. More workers means less struggle and better money.
It ain't as live as it should be this time of year. It should be 30, 40, 50 on the blade.
Working the track is declining in popularity. Only 20% of prostitutes work the streets, but they account for 90% of the arrests. Pressure from the cops and other ways of doing business, like internet hookups, have sucked away the clients and the girls.
Here go your new pappy. Here go your new pappy that's going to keep you happy, baby, right over here to your right. You know it ain't no game if it ain't good game, boo. Good game for the record.
Good Game and Boom walk the street, not only to recruit, but to also show they have a physical presence in the game. This keeps other pimps from swooping in on their women.
Good game for the record. You know it ain't no game if it ain't good game. Your future pappy that's going to keep you happy.
For a moment, it looks like the blonde is responding, but she's just going after a John. Seashell is calling Good Game for a ride to her next appointment.
I gotta go take care of some business. I gotta go drop this off to see somebody.
Seashell's businessmen clients set up appointments with her over the phone, and Good Game takes her there. He may seem like the chauffeur, but it's safer than having Seashell walk the streets, and he is willing to do what it takes to squeeze every penny he can out of her. 4:30 in the morning, and it's just getting cracking now.
It is going to get my bread.
Tomorrow, Good Game and Seashell will be in a different city, working their trade. Good Game has taken his business national, selling sex wherever there's a demand.
This is how we eat, man. You dig? A lot of motherfuckers talk that we did this for real.
Coming up,
I have sex and I get paid for it.
is every guy a dollar sign to you?
I look at them like a dollar sign, and if they don't have the money, they don't get my time.
I'm waiting for a town car to pick me up right now, and inside that town car is going to be a high-priced call girl. Through intermediaries, friends of friends, hookups that I know, this girl's agreed to meet with me. She's very nervous. I've never met her before. She's never met me before. I'm waiting for a phone call. When the phone rings, I'm literally going to walk out my front door and climb into a car and just start firing off the questions about what it's like to be a high-priced call girl. The pimp used to be king. Now the internet is ruling the sex trade. Websites allow women to control how they meet their johns, with no pimp and all the profit. For the girl struggling at college or the housewife paying off her bills, it's a tempting choice, but it's dangerous, illegal, and often lonely. Hey, is that you out front in the limo?
Hang on. I'm coming to pick you up.
Okay, I'm coming out right now. This girl has finally agreed to talk, but only until her first client shows up. I've agreed to come alone and protect her identity. I'll be scrambling to set up my cameras and ask her as many questions as I can. How you doing? Oh, great. I just want to place this really quickly. There we go. So you work on your own for yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So how did you get into this profession?
Well, basically, I had a pimp, whatever you want to call him. I was fed up of giving my money to somebody, and it wasn't spent on me.
Okay. So pimp to you is a waste of time.
I can give a about a pimp. They're below trash to me. You're doing all the work. You're putting your life on the line. I mean, you can go to jail for this. And then you make this money and you give it to somebody? Like, I don't understand the point of that. I can get my own sugar daddies, I call them my clients, and I'm addicted to money. So I wanted this to be my money. That's simple.
How much does it cost?
The minimum is $2,000 an hour.
$2,000 an hour?
Yes.
Wow. How about a day?
It's $10,000 a day.
$10,000 a day?
Yeah.
Is it sketchy walking into a place all by yourself with no man there to protect you?
First we talk on the phone, I fill him out, and then we meet in a public place, I fill him out even more. He's got to be high end, he has to be legit.
Is every guy a dollar sign to you?
Pretty much. I look at them like a dollar sign, and if they don't have the money, they don't get my time.
Internet prostitution tends to attract the wealthier client. People accessing the web generally have a higher economic status.
My clients are human beings, so they have feelings. They want affection. And not all of them want sex. I have one client, he has his own little habit. He likes to play cards and likes to have company. And I sit there naked and I play cards with him. And he pays me $2,000 an hour.
Is that weird?
It's very weird. But if you just block that out, you have your own imagination, it's all good.
This girl seems happy with her life, but the journalist in me needs to know how and why she chose this path. What's the jump off that makes you go, okay, I'm going to go from working at a burger stand to...
I don't have family. I don't have a mother and a father. I don't have any siblings. I did what I had to do, you know? And it just sort of ended up this way. And it's not like I'm standing on the corner of a street, you know, asking for like $200 an hour or something. It's a nice life. And I have sex and I get paid for it, so it's great.
Isabel has ditched the traditional pimp in favor of the security provided by high-end hotels and the traceability of email. But this is still illegal and dangerous work. It's estimated that only one John is arrested to every 50 prostitutes. The limo and hotel room have been paid for by the client, who is about to arrive. He's a regular.
I got him some cigars. I got him money lighter.
Is this a regular client?
Mm-hmm.
You're spending money on him.
Yeah, so if I spend a little money on them, they're going to spend more money on me. When you don't have a pimp, they want to be like the daddy. They want to be your hero. They want to be your savior. So they spend more money. That's what girls don't get. I gotta go online and put up an ad. I want to get a new client, so I'm just going to basically say I'm looking for a guy that's interested in being pleased and has the money to do it.
How many days a week do you post an ad?
Every day. It's a business.
So you work 7 days a week?
I don't have to work every day. I don't go out there with everybody every day. You know, it's just my clients, and when they call me, I'm there, you know, and I get paid for it. So I'm basically saying I'm looking for a gentleman that knows how to treat a woman.
Without the internet, you wouldn't be able to make as much money.
The internet makes it a lot easier. It's just a lot faster with the internet.
Adult services sections on classified websites are almost impossible to regulate. Within hours of one being shut down, ads just reappear elsewhere. The digital age is a haven for sex workers like Isabel. and the Johns who visit her. How many times will you have sex in a night?
Like tonight, it's going to be 2 times.
2 different guys.
2 different guys, yeah. These 2 guys are on business trips. They're pretty busy right now. And the other guy has to get back to his wife.
He has to get back to his wife?
Yeah.
You need that many condoms?
I mean, I just keep them on hand just in case, you know? So, I gotta get ready for him.
Now, has he seen these outfits before?
No. I mean, he bought me this one. I haven't really worn it. I probably should wear it tonight.
What's the biggest gift you've ever got?
Probably a car.
Wait, what?
A car.
Somebody gave you a car?
Yeah.
Was it new?
Mm-hmm.
And did they still pay you on top of giving you the car?
Mm-hmm. See, I can pay myself. I don't need a man.
What's the most amount of money in one big chunk you've ever made?
When I went to China last month, that was a lot of money.
How much?
It was 10 grand a day, and I went down there for a week.
You made $70,000 cash in a week?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that right now you have over $600,000 in the bank? Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you soon.
And then the guy's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after he leaves, you're going to get ready. And then the next guy's coming.
Yes.
How do you stay motivated to have sex with the next guy and the next guy and the next guy?
Money always motivates me.
You have a best friend?
No,
Really?
I don't have a friend. I mean, my clients are my friends.
So who do you trust?
No one. Because I have nobody in my life.
Isabella's made a lot of money from this business.
Bye.
But she's alone and always at the beck and call of her clients. Coming up.
Ladies have $6,000 boobs. They're driving foreign cars. I introduced them to this money, into this business, into this lifestyle.
Beautiful women advertise products every day in America. The lure of a sexy body can bring in the cash without breaking any laws. By day, she's the girl next door. But by night, she's naked, selling fantasy to the highest bidder. It's all perfectly legal and closer than you might think. This morning we're going to meet with the guy who has titled himself the Black Hef. He lives with 3 women that are his exotic dancers that he manages, is what I understand. And this is kind of a legitimate form of pimping, meaning he does not manage these women for prostituting themselves out for sex. However, he does manage these women for being exotic dancers and gives them spiritual and business guidance as they live with him. The adult entertainment industry is worth over $10 billion annually, and the Black Hef is taking his cut. Through my contacts and many phone calls, I've gained Black Hef's trust. He's allowed my cameraman and me into his home and life.
What's up,
man? Black Hef?
Yeah, this the Black Hef. I'm about to give y'all a tour of the palace in Dallas. This is what me and the ladies of Team Concept have built and worked hard for, and this is the way we live our life on a every single day basis. I got ceilings high enough where you can stack 2 giraffes on top of each other and they still won't touch. Like them high ceilings. This is the master suite for the Black Hef. Spiral staircase leading upstairs. But like Jeezy say, my rooms got rooms. Use the majority where my suits go, dress shirts, underneath all my shoes, you know, alligators. And you got the tennis shoes over here. Oh, I forgot to show y'all my jewelry. This is my pieces. Big pinky ring. Every player hustler must have one. And that's the cross that always keep me blessed. Because I believe in God. Believe that.
Most things here were bought with the earnings of 3 strippers: Crystal, Kaylin, and Tiva. The foundation of this whole enterprise is something called Team Concept, where all the girls and Black Hef pitch in to make 6 figures or more every year. Today, they're doing a professional photo shoot to promote the company's website.
Could GQ get a guy as cool as me?
Everyone works together, but they also live together with Crystal's son and Kaylin's daughter. One big modern extended family.
Alrighty. Y'all ready, kids, everybody? Thank you for this food we're about to receive, for the nourishment of our body, and Christ is our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Black Hef has plucked each of his girls from hard times and put them on a stage to strip. He is proud of his business, and he wants the world to know about it.
Before they met me, they was a janitor, a waitress, and so.
But what do they need you for?
Ladies have $6,000 boobs. They're driving foreign cars. All their bills are paid. They're getting their taxes filed. Their confidence level has boosted up. So I introduced them to the industry, into this money, into this business, into this lifestyle. But I can tell you that what I do with my clients has nothing to do or pertains not anywhere close to prostitution or pimping.
Well, I think when they think sex industry, they go, no, that's a pimp.
But my pimp stands for power in motivating people. PIMP. I'm the solution to prostitution. In order to be a pimp, you must have prostitutes. And I do not condone prostitution, and I don't affiliate with prostitutes.
Coming up, you come down here, and 3 days later, you're making a choice to stand naked on a stage and make money.
No, I threw up my first night in there.
I'm in Dallas with my cameraman, chasing down a story on a modern-day player, the Black Hef. And here we are, morning 2. We're going to see what the House of Hef is all built on. The action plan that he's given the women to make a living, a good living at that, off their bodies. I've seen this operation from the surface. Now the journalist in me wants to know how the girls feel about working and living with the Black Hef. So every day you go through this?
Every single day.
You think it makes a difference?
Oh, yeah. You'll see the difference.
What about when you go to the club and meet the fellas? Does it make the difference?
Well, I've never met the fellas without them.
Really?
No.
Pre-Black Hef, what was your life like?
My mom passed away when I was 13. I had Cameron fresh out of high school.
Your son?
Yeah. I got pregnant in high school. So for prom and graduation, I was pregnant. So I've been a single mom the whole time. For the past 9 years. My gas had just gotten turned off before I came down here.
In your house?
Yeah. Before I met the Black Hef, I was a janitor at the county courthouse and the state probation office.
So you met him at the courthouse?
No, that's where I was working. I met him at a rap concert in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I was absolutely miserable. I was looking for a way out.
So you met the Black Hef. 2 weeks later, you moved down here.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 days later, you were dancing.
Yep. Never even considered dancing before.
You come down here, and 3 days later, you're making a choice to, stand naked on a stage and make money.
No, I threw up my first night in there.
Really?
Yes.
The Black Hef attracts his women by the lure of a glamorous lifestyle, like pimps do.
There's girls in the clubs that, can make $20, and there's girls in the club that can make $2,000.
What do most guys want? Do they want to talk, or they want dances?
Most guys just want.
Okay, but that's not happening.
No, that doesn't happen. So you gotta work your way around that. Because they think, oh, I'm gonna go to a strip club. I'm getting laid tonight.
That's really what they're thinking?
Oh, yeah. Especially when they look at me. They just want to take me out to dinner. It's hilarious. Yeah, I see dollar signs. I sell the thought. It's like selling a box of air. I sell the thought of wanting to have sex with me.
But selling this idea comes with consequences. Do you have a boyfriend?
No.
So would he be the closest thing to a boyfriend?
Yeah.
We just wouldn't call him a boyfriend.
Right. Boyfriends in this company would just get in the way and be a distraction. Because then you got the feelings and the emotions and everything that wraps up in the drama. I wouldn't change it for the world. You couldn't pay me enough to change it. I absolutely adore everything about my life. Everything.
How often do you find yourself defending your life?
I don't defend it.
Crystal is living her version of the American dream. And if you saw her in her luxury SUV, you might think she's just another rich Dallas housewife. Where did you come up with this idea?
Well, it's basically a system that's set up to make things flow smoothly and make people work together and come into one common bond. I tell people all the time, we're not focused on sex. Because if you see these women and you see me, you're like, man, he gotta be banging those girls. That's what everybody think. That's what everybody would want to think.
Are you banging those girls?
Would you be?
The girls perform all over the Dallas area, and the strip clubs are huge. Tonight's club has 2 showrooms, 6 bars, and a lot of private rooms. On a good night, there could be hundreds of men and thousands of dollars to be made.
You know, when the first time you guys went to do this, is this where you started to get nervous?
On the way there.
On the way to the club, that's when you started to get nervous?
Can't call it alter ego because it's all me, but when it kicks in, it is your alter ego.
This is your alter ego?
I'm not me in the club.
You're not yourself?
No, I have an alter ego.
Are any of you girls the same?
Nope.
You just become a different person? Wow. Is the black cat your boyfriend?
No, the black cat is not my boyfriend. He's way better than a boyfriend. He does way more than a boyfriend ever does for their girlfriend. That's for sure. He's my coach, my captain, my boss, my confidant.
This is where you make your money.
Yeah.
This is where you get it done.
Yeah.
This is what Black Cat Teen Concept is all about.
That's a big 10-4. Bread and butter, baby.
The girls have stripped off their clothes and put on a mask. They are pros, trained by the black heft to sell fantasy. Just like prostitutes are trained to sell sex. It has gone prime time, and pimping has been elevated to the suburbs.
I don't understand, it must be the way that she looks. Might not be nothing to you, but she's a 10 in my book.
Sex is big business all across America, illegally and legally. It can be dangerous and lonely, but business is booming, and some believe the risks are worth the reward.
Brothers and sisters, you have been listening to the documentary on prostitution, and that is the end of it. You are listening to The Culture Climate on Demand. I am your host, Ayana. I thank you all for tuning in and listening to this particular segment of The Culture Climate. Very interesting details, correct? I mean, the entire trade of fornication in all of its levels is mind-boggling. Anyway, brothers and sisters, we'll be back after these 2 commercial breaks.
Search Effort is now available on demand on the Sister Speak Show. Dorothy and the Crooked Brick Road, the Dorothy Williams story. Let's find out what happened to the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion when they ran into Dorothy in Chicago. From the Search Effort hosted by Ayana Holloman, the Sister Speak Show, live and on demand Sunday through Sunday, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. Listening to the Sister Speak Show is even easier now with the new abilities available from Spreaker Skill on Amazon Alexa. With Spreaker on Alexa, you can now listen to the Sister Speak Show from even more places from all around the world. You also have navigation control, fast forward and rewind podcast to make sure you never miss a second of your favorite show. And then you can ask for show recommendations like the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve.
Brothers and sisters, welcome back to The Culture Climate on Demand on the Sister Speak Show. I hope you all have had a wonderful time so far. You know, I just wanted to share a couple things, and then we're going to go ahead and close on out. You know, I really am praying for my brothers and sisters who are left alone, who are vulnerable, that feel that there's no other way to survive than to just sell their body. I pray that things will change for you and that there will be an avenue besides one of prostitution that you can go down that will lead you into who you are supposed to be, into your passions and your purpose. I don't make light of the situations that we all have encountered as a young child. I don't make light of the environments that we were raised in. I just know that our village is suffering tremendously, and I know that the fornication industry is heavily populated with our brothers and sisters who have gone astray. And of course, you can go astray in several directions, but today's topic is focusing on prostitution. You know, going broke while getting paid. The focus of prostitution in our communities, whether you consider yourself to be a pimp, a player, whether you are a flesh peddler, whether you are an escort, a prostitute, or whether you're just giving it up, period. And I don't want to, say giving it up for free, whether you are just steadily fornicating. I just want to just encourage you all to step away from the trenches, and I want to encourage you all to come out of the pits. There's nothing like getting in the ring with the dark one, Beelzebub, Satan, the devil, and going toe to toe with him and taking back everything you stole. One thing about me, and I'll just be very plain about this, when I was caught up for a time, when I was doing, the dancing and everything like that, like I said, it wasn't for a long time, and I did not make a lot of money, and I'm glad I didn't. But the one thing I did do is when I woke up, I decided to go back and make sure that it was known that I was finished. And a change came over my life. I do feel like I became a little self-righteous after being delivered from that, and then the Lord quickly reminded me of who I just was. And so I and this was early, long time ago. And with that, it just made me understand that, being in darkness, and being in darkness while having low self-esteem, not having the proper attention paid to you, and just all the other influences that come along with our lifestyles, that, I just understand what it is to get caught up and what it is to go astray. So I just want to encourage all of you all to stop. You're not a man when other women go out to make money for you. You're not. Some men and women thrive on getting things out of other people. But what are you doing to get those things? Some of you say, I'm just running my mouth. I just got it like that. Yeah, but what you're doing is you're giving up your masculinity. Okay? Man is supposed to live by the sweat of his brow. You're supposed to get up, get out, and get something. You're supposed to be the leader. You're supposed to be the head. You're supposed to be the provider. You're supposed to be out there working, not having somebody else work for you. You're off. You're off in all of your thoughts. And so your mind needs to be regulated, I just want to encourage everybody to understand that when somebody says, some of these women have never had a father, some of these men have never had a father, and I'm just their daddy, I rebuke you, demon, in the name of the Most High God and His Son, the Christ, for the simple fact that you are not God. Now, I understand step daddies, adopted daddies, guardians, and all that other stuff, but I'm not talking about that. I'm speaking about a spiritual situation here, okay? Because you are in a spiritual disaster. As I'm saying that God is a father to the fatherless, a mother to the motherless, a brother to the brotherless, and a sister to the sisterless. Get out of his way. Get out of his way. Prayer changes things, my brothers and sisters. So I just pray that the strongholds that are holding on to you will be removed. And for those of you who work in the communities, those of you who believe in prayer, those of you who know that prayer changes things, pray for our brothers and sisters, especially our young ones who are kidnapped, trafficked, or in sex trafficking, and they are trafficked to Los Angeles, to Vegas, and overseas. It's a terrible situation. And a lot of people say, well, prostitution is the oldest profession in the book, and all these other type of things, and we need stronger laws. There are a lot of laws that are in place, about sex laws, and I think I'm going to talk about that on the next show. Sex laws. And a lot of times we need to understand that there's the law, and then there's laws. And we need to understand that there are guidelines put in place to navigate us in our thoughts and our actions and our choices. So when it comes to politicians and those who write laws and bills and all the other type of stuff, sometimes you're not going to expect anybody to pass something that they're involved in. And a lot of times you'll see some people who are outraged in politics about certain things going on, and they're heavily engaged in the very thing that they present to the public as an outrage, but they are heavily in it. There's some places all over the world where you can go and just be completely disgusting and grimy, sex places that you can go to. I rebuke these places in the name of the Most High God. I rebuke the spirit of infidelity and adultery in the name of the Most High God and His Son, the Christ, for the simple fact that, these entities are providing a way for people to come in and continue to stay in darkness and to continue to be filthy. Okay, so I hope that all of these establishments that provide areas for people to go in and engage in lewd acts, okay, acts of complete utter filth, I hope you all burn down. I said that. I hope you burn down. I hope that the desires to be disgusting are completely removed from you. I'm just being honest with you. And to all of my sisters and my brothers who continue to flash your cash on Instagram because you hold for it. You gave it up for it because you were completely violated and degraded for it, because you decided to take an easy way out to do what you need to do. Now, some people say, but you don't know my situation. You don't know my situation. But God does, and He's able. So I'm not going to sit here and let you lean on excuses of malpractice against yourself, sister and brother. Okay, so if you are counting hundreds of dollar bills on Instagram and flashing in front of people, and you know that you just got through hoeing to get it, man, you are still broken and broke. Okay, and that's real talk. I have an issue with people who show their money on Instagram anyway. I don't understand why people are always showing what they have in that manner. I can understand being happy about a blessing, but we're talking about blessings, not stressings, not things that come from stress. Okay, we're talking about actually the Lord did this. Okay, the Lord did that. The Lord handed this to me. He made a way. I'm talking about real, genuine, spiritual, divine blessings. Amen. But you still have to be careful. But when it comes to your money, why do you always count it and floss it? Honestly, at this point, who cares if you ain't doing nothing with it to share it? I just have a problem with the fact that social media is an outlet that people use to show the success, quote unquote, of their sin. You're not successful in your sin. Okay? And then you want to tell me to step my paper up. I stepped my paper up the moment I stepped away from that type of lifestyle, for the simple fact that, I can sleep. I don't have demons after me. I don't have things going on that make me not be able, there is a glow that is removed from you. I look at these young girls who sit there with these long weaves and all this other type of stuff, and they look so ran through. Just ran through. Sister, by the time you turn 27, it's going to be rough. Some of y'all look older than me. And I'm just being honest. Because God can restore your years. To the old hoes, 60 and up. That's all I got to say. Ooh, brothers and sisters, this is real talk. We have to understand that we're not gaining anything by taking something from somebody or giving up something to get something from somebody. A purse, a shoe, a car, a house, a this, or that, or whatever. Look, God is able. And He is our provider. We're out of order. And until we get back in order, these type of disorders will continue to continue to happen. We are malfunctioning. We are dysfunctioning when we're supposed to be functioning, my brothers and my sisters. And so I just want to encourage you all to step away from the darkness and come into the marvelous light. A lot of times in order to be found, you must first get lost. That's a word for you today, my brothers and sisters. You've been listening to the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayana. You can catch the platform, coming to the stage, the search effort, the culture climate, the laugh line, and the tour, all on the Sister Speak Show, syndicated on Amazon Alexa. You'll also be able to catch special guest interviews, live performances, in-studio interviews, and live on-location reports. The special guests who will be on the Sister Speak Show are dynamic, and they are impacting the communities with their passions. The Sister Speak Show is a talk show that will keep your mind and your soul informed, energized, and encouraged. We are a cultural renaissance platform that influences a climate that is conducive to who you are and who you should be. No reckless entertainment, just responsible listening, nourishment. My brothers and sisters, we don't go dumb, we go wisdom on the Sister Speak Show, my brothers and my sisters. I'm so excited about the rest of this week. Tonight, my brothers and sisters, this evening, this morning, whenever you're listening to this show. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope everything is going well for you. I hope everything is manifesting in the way that it should for you. I don't want you to give up on life. I understand sometimes are bleak, sometimes are hard, sometimes it feels like you're not progressing at all, but the teacher doesn't talk during the test. So that silence that you're experiencing, that stillness that you're experiencing, that lack of motivation that you might be experiencing, continue to pray, and you need to drink a lot of water. Water really, really, really energizes you, and it really provides your body to really function at maximum. Okay. I just want to encourage you to change your diet and some things that are going on so your life will feel better. With that being said, my brothers and sisters, I will be having guests this week. If you are listening today to this show, don't forget that on Sunday, tonight, actually, I have a special guest, and that is Sai Assad. She is an author. She will be on the platform. I'm so excited about that interview, my brothers and sisters. Until we meet again, you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Don't forget that the Sister Speak show, especially the Culture Climate, is for mature audiences only. There will be language, thoughts, as well as rebuking, chastisement, correction, and encouragement that will occur during the Culture Climate. This is not about judgment. This is about facts, observation, and solution. Until we meet again, my brothers and sisters, you be encouraged.